Hey everyone, back with another quick Avid tutorial, and this one is about workspaces. Now, I've posted a previous video about workspaces and what those are and how to customize them and save your own and such, and I'll put a link to that here so you can find that. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend that before this one. But on that video, I got a comment that had a question about customizing workspaces and something that maybe I didn't talk through well in there, so wanted to try to answer that, and this might be a question other people had, which had to do with if you have different display configurations. So, for instance, I am working on a single screen right now because I am recording this video and that's easier for me to do that way. But when I'm actually editing a project, I usually have a dual screen configuration. I like to put my bins on one monitor and then just have my timeline and composer on the other. Your mileage may vary. But the question I got was about that sort of situation, and specifically somebody had a dual monitor setup, but they actually wanted Avid to show up only on one monitor, and said every time they booted up, it came up and spread across the both of them. And this is something you can control with Workspaces, so I wanted to point that out. So I'll remind us our workspaces are up here under Windows Workspaces. You can see here's the default ones, edit color effects and audio. Here's another one that I've created. You notice it says dual screen edit, and you don't need to label things dual screen or single screen. That's just one I've put for mine because I usually work in this regular edit workspace that I've customized when I just have my laptop screen up, and when I have a second screen pulled up, I go to this workspace that's set up the way I want it for those. And that's actually the way you can control this. So I'm going to pull up my settings, Command comma, and I'm over on the user tab. And if you scroll down here, you can see workspaces and you can see all your various workspaces. You can see right now I'm in edit, that is checked here. And you can see it's set up for one display, 14:9. Each of these workspaces is customized to a specific display configuration. And you can set things up for multiple different ones. So you can have all different workspaces if you sometimes have a single display or a dual display or a triple display, whatever it is, and you want to set things up that way. So what I would recommend if you sometimes have a single display and sometimes a dual display would be to do what I've done here, is set up different workspaces for each. And again, that other tutorial I did covers how to set these up and create them. To the particular question that came up in this comment is about where you have a dual screen setup, but you don't want Avid to take over both of those. The way you would want to do this is create a workspace that has two displays. So when you have both displays connected, I could go in here and create myself a new workspace and adjust everything in that, and that will be saved as a dual screen workspace, and I could leave that as my default, and that should come up next time I log in. The key thing would be, once you're in that dual screen setup, then organize things the way you want. So if you only want all your Avid stuff to show up on one display, still tell it it's a dual screen setup. Let it know, hey, I've got both these monitors attached and I want all this stuff on the right monitor, left monitor, top or bottom, however your displays are configured. But move everything to where you want it to be and lay it out that way, and then save that workspace. And then the next time you come into Avid and those same two displays are connected, if it defaults into that workspace, great. If it doesn't, you can go down to your workspaces and connect to the one you want. In this case, for me, that's my dual screen edit is the one set up for when I have dual monitors, although I do like my stuff split across both. And then everything should look the way you wanted and not be showing up on that second monitor at all. But the important thing here is that the workspace has to be set up and saved in that dual monitor configuration with things just on the one monitor where you want them. If, again, that's what you're trying to do. If you would like your stuff spread out across both monitors in a particular configuration, you can do that again, but you have to save that workspace with things laid out that way when you have both monitors set up. I personally don't know a way, it's entirely possible there is one, I just don't know it, to set up like a single monitor display workspace when you have two monitors connected or vice versa. I always set it up when I have the monitors in the configuration that I want, because something you may have noticed in my settings here is this actually even tells you the specific dimensions of those displays. So even if I connected a second display, but it was a different one than the one that I had set, this workspace up with, it may not use that workspace the same way. I might need to create a new one for that particular configuration. But most of the time, you probably have a limited number of monitor configurations you're using. Like I said, for me, it's either just my laptop screen or it's my laptop screen plus one other monitor that sits on my desk, and that's the only other one I ever connect to it. So it's not like you would have 10 different monitor configurations you're regularly using, I assume. Anyway, hope that answers that question and helps out if you're wondering about the single and dual monitor configurations, that this is a way to control that, is creating new workspaces and having each of those set to the particular display configuration that you're going to be using. Hope that answers that question. Happy editing as always, and see you next time.